Hello everyone, welcome to Clear Perspective. I'm Serene. First of all, happy holiday to all of you. On July 1st, the Trump Organization and its senior CFO, Alan Weisselberg, have been criminally charged for failing to pay taxes on the executive's fringe benefits. The case was charged by the Manhattan District Attorney and the New York State Attorney General. The Trump Organization, based in New York City, has been run primarily by his son, Eric Trump, since Trump became president. Weisselberg began working as an accountant for Fred Trump, President Trump's father, in 1973, and has been with the Trump family's companies for decades. It can be said that Weisselberg is a loyal assistant to Trump. Since Trump announced his presidential bid in 2015, Weisselberg had been targeted by leftist prosecutors and subjected to a series of investigations. Trump has now publicly said that he may run for president in 2024, and several major swing states are pushing for massive audits. Under these circumstances, New York prosecutors sued the Trump Organization and Weisselberg on July 1st for failure to pay taxes on corporate fringe benefits. But they did not sue Donald Trump and his family members. The suit alleges that Weisselberg and the company created a 15-year scheme to compensate the CFO and other executives and failed to include them in their accounts. Weisselberg allegedly received more than $1.7 million in indirect compensation, as well as free rent on his Manhattan apartment, a luxury car, and a private school tuition for his grandchildren, none of which were taxed. Weisselberg was charged with felony tax fraud, scheme conspiracy, grand larceny, and the falsification of business records. Weisselberg has pleaded not guilty to these charges. So what was the $1.7 million indirect compensation all about? In an interview with Fox News Thursday night, Donald Trump Jr. denounced the charges as political persecution of a political enemy. He said the taxable portion of that $1.7 million to New York State is 8%. That's $136,000 over 16 years. That's $10,000 a year, actually $8,500 a year. Here, we would like to remind you that some media reports said that Weisselberg evaded $1.7 million in taxes, which is wrong. After 2 years of investigation, the only allegations the Democrats could come up with were trivial. The purpose of the prosecution of the CFO is simply to force him to comply. The son of the CFO was divorced. His ex-wife, Jennifer Weisselberg, went on TV to talk about how bad her ex-father-in-law and ex-husband were. Jennifer said that Donald Trump gave a Manhattan apartment as a wedding gift when she married the CFO's son, Barry Weisselberg. However, Barry said the apartment was corporate belonging to the Trump Organization, so it was not a gift to Jennifer. The luxury apartment is in a Manhattan building overlooking Central Park. Jennifer used to live there. The apartment was taken back by the Trump Organization, and Jennifer went on TV again to express her displeasure. She claimed that her gift was taken back. In fact, this proves that it wasn't a gift to her, as she wasn't the owner of the apartment. In addition to this apartment, another thing is the CFO's grandchildren. Jennifer Weisselberg's family could not afford her children's tuition. Donald Trump signed tuition checks for the CFO's grandchildren to go to private school. The Manhattan Attorney General got Trump's tax returns over the past 20 years through the U.S. Supreme Court order. After thorough investigation, this was the only problem they could find. Instead of proving something wrong with Trump, this actually shows how good a person Trump is. The fact is that paying taxes is a very complex issue. Since Weisselberg made such a financial decision, he should be held accountable for his own actions. Normally, if a company involved with tax fraud, it will face a civil suit, an audit, or maybe a fine at most. But the prosecutor pressed criminal charges against Weisselberg over multiple felonies. Why was this the case? The New York Times claims that this is because prosecutors often seek to obtain evidence from potential witnesses through the threat of criminal prosecution. The left is anxiously waiting for Weisselberg to give up his loyalty to Trump and bring up charges against Trump. In an interview with Eric Trump, Newsmax TV asked him why the prosecutors did not directly charge former President Donald Trump or any of his family members when they indicted the Trump Organization and Weisselberg. Eric replied, "You think if after going through 3.5 million pages of Trump's records over 4 years, they found a single thing on Donald Trump, you think they would be going after Alan Weisselberg? Of course not. They would be going after Donald Trump. And guess what? After all that time, they found nothing. You know why? Because there is nothing." He also added that the Trump Organization is a really, really good company, and that we have always lived amazingly clean lives, Eric said. On July 2nd, the New York Post published an editorial titled, "Trump Organization Indictments Are a Travesty of Justice." The editorial quoted Ronald Fischetti, Trump's attorney, who said, "In my more than 50 years of practice, never before have I seen a district attorney's office target a company over employee compensation or fringe benefits. It's ridiculous and outrageous. I think this proves just how desperate the radical left currently are, using any and all legal means in an attempt to bring down Trump. Why are they so desperate? I think this is because Trump is likely to soon announce his candidacy in the 2024 election. Currently, Trump is essentially the de facto leader of the Republican Party, with an 80% to 90% approval rating that no one in the party can match." Moving on to another topic, it seems there are still too many unanswered questions surrounding the January 6th incident on Capitol Hill. The Biden administration has kept it a secret as to who shot the female veteran Ashley Babbitt. The public was told only that it was a Capitol police officer, but 6 months have passed and no name has been released. The latest word is that the man was not a Capitol police officer, but a Secret Service agent protecting Pence. The Spectator reported a news theory on June 30th that Ashley Babbitt may have been shot by a member of former Vice President Mike Pence's protective detail. The article also says that the unnamed officer's lawyer kept his client anonymous due to threats against his life. The real question is, why was an innocent person shot? What was the shooter's motive? Was he taking orders from someone? Trump asked, "Who killed Ashley Babbitt?" in a statement on July 1st. However, in April, the Department of Justice closed their investigation on Babbitt's death. The officer was not prosecuted because there was supposedly a lack of evidence. Greg Kelly, anchor of Newsmax, was outraged and disappointed by the quick closure of the case and the fact that the media did not investigate further. He said, "There is no explanation for the media's total lack of interest in this homicide." He asked, why did the cop open fire when she did not pose a deadly threat? Finally, we have a good news update. On July 1st, the Supreme Court ruled a 6-3 vote that Arizona's set of voting policies did not violate federal law. Arizona's law, which prohibits ballot harvesting, was sued by Democrats for racial discrimination, and the case went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruling on Thursday was clearly a huge victory for conservatives in their fight for electoral integrity. This is a victory not only for Arizona but also for Republican states currently engaged in election law reform. Biden's Attorney General Merrick Garland announced last week that the Justice Department will challenge Georgia's new voting law, SB 202, claiming that its voter ID rules violate Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And Garland is not just targeting Georgia, but also other states that have enacted such laws. Now, the Supreme Court's decision suggests that the Supreme Court may not buy Garland's argument. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Hope everyone a very happy holiday. See you next time.